Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to my channel. My name is its_Kisaka. So pleased to have you back on this channel. If it is your first time on this channel, kindly do me a favor by subscribing, liking this video, and sharing it out. And also remember to leave your sweet comments. Canada has just made some news a few weeks ago that it will no longer be renewing, or sorry, it will be no longer extending the visas from countries such as most of the countries in Africa and the Caribbean. One of the visas that most of the Africans go or rather travel with to Canada and find their way or maneuver their way to stay there in Canada is the tourist visa. And news in is that Canada will no longer be extending the visas. If most of the people travel there from the Caribbean and African countries travel to Canada and then with tourist visa and then extend the tourist visa into work visa or work permit, and this will no longer be due to the policies that have been put in place. This will be no longer the case. In case you are there and on a tourist visa and you want to extend it into a work permit or work visa, you will have to travel back to your country and then you apply for the work permit and or the work visa. And you know, with the work visa, it has a lot of requirements, a lot of questions you need to answer, like your the amount of money that you have, your bank statements, your family, how many children you have, etc., and some other questions. So this is not good news to some people. You know, Canada has been very hospitable. It has been hosting a lot of Africans and a majority of the people from the Caribbean. Like a country like Jamaica has a lot of its citizens in the diaspora. Majority of them are in the Canada and are in USA, and some are in the UK and in other parts of the world. But majority of them are in those. So this is bad news to some. You know, with some Africans and members of the Caribbean, they believe in going there to for greener pastures because most of the payment in terms of work, they pay well. That's why majority travel there. So this will no longer be the case. And what I've discovered is that majority of the African countries, or sorry, majority of the superpowers, that is America, Europe, European countries, Australia, New Zealand, you'll discover that they travel to Canada visa-free. But now the extension of from the tourist visa into work permit will be a disaster. These are some of the ways that most of the people used to go and find their way there. That is tourist visa. Some go there as students, and then they find their way to stay there because the payment is so well. And it's a good because when they get their employment over there, they remit at home for development and support. A country like Haiti has a lot of its citizens in other countries, which do help. You can see the situation that the country is in right now. I think what we need to do is that most of the African countries, because I've discovered that most of the African countries can go to the Caribbean visa-free, but most of the Caribbean countries don't have the same visa-free allowance to Africa. Africans and Caribbeans should start collaborating, and it should be visa-free. It should be open, because with in the past, the transatlantic slave trade that happened, we have some bondage or there's some form of DNA within us. It should not be. The barriers should be removed. People should, the Africans and the Caribbeans should travel with ease. I discovered what this policy has been put up, and I was trying to imagine how will be those people who are willing or are planning to travel to Canada. How are they going to be like? Because there are some people who believe in going there for greener pastures, but it is not always that way. You can. There are some who excel in the Caribbean, they just remain there and they excel, and there are some who excel within Africa, or rather financially within Africa. However, majority are preferred going there for because of the opportunities and also some of the problems. In Caribbean, there are some natural disasters that have been occurring, like earthquakes, tsunami, and so forth. So there are some who prefer to come to places like Africa. Africa doesn't is not majority affected by the tectonic plates. So there are some who, and also some of the vices, like a country like Haiti, some of the gangs that are bringing trouble in the capital, it makes some to move and go and look for opportunities. Anyway, either way, we're hoping things to get better. And also, if you are within those countries, remember your brothers. Remember, thank you to all who are supporting their brothers back at home, the Jamaicans who are abroad supporting their fellow citizens and the families. And also, when you get opportunities, also remember them. Investments. Also, remember to invest back at home, and also your retirement plan. I think it's good to, once you have retired, it's good to come to a place like Africa or go back to the Caribbean. Don't spend all your life living in like Canada or the US. This is just my opinion. I know each and every one of you would wish to stay wherever you wish, but my advice is a place like Africa with a good environment, good kind of weather, especially in the countrysides. Also in the Caribbean, the countrysides are so nice. So I think it's good to make a plan so that you don't just stay the whole of your lives in abroad. It's good to, as you make investments, also make your retirement plan to go back to Africa and the Caribbean. Canada has always been welcoming, and with this policy, I think they were complaining that they are having a lot of Africans and people from the Caribbean coming in there with maneuvering with the visas and staying there. Initially, they were welcoming a lot of Africans and these other people from other countries for building up the country. I guess at this point in time, they have already built up their country, so they don't need a lot of this influx. So this is the case now. It is difficult to extend a travel visa, or rather a tourist visa, into a work visa. You'll have to go back to your country, and once a tourist visa is expired, before you apply for a work visa. I think this is the end of this video. Cheers, guys. If you're not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor by hitting the subscription button. See you on my next video.